Gamer7 and welcome back to another cast video on my channel. Of course, this one is part of the Pokemon to cast series going on my channel. This is for Lycanroc, and Lycanroc ended up being done a little bit differently compared to most of the other ones. It was also one of the ones that I was actually looking forward to doing because Lycanroc is one of the newest Sun and Moon Pokemon, and if you actually have played the game or even watched the first season of the anime of Sun and Moon, you know that Lycanroc actually evolves from, oh, why have I just forgotten? The Rockruff. Randomly, I forgot the pre-evolution, but Rockruff evolves into Lycanroc. But there's actually 3 forms of Lycanroc. Technically, it's only usually 2, but there are circumstances, I think it came from just the anime originally, that there is a 3rd. There is the midday and the midnight form, and then there is the dusk form. So I decided for this one, what I was going to do, I created a base for this sim, and the base served as the starter block for 3 different sims. So I make the midday form, the midnight form, and eventually the dusk form of them. But I started with the same base. So it's basically like these 3 are triplets. But of course they do have their subtle differences. I just made the base, and then I went in for all 3 of them and tweaked certain things just a little bit so that, you know, they're still like their individual person and you could tell differences even if you took away like their hair or whatever. But you can also still tell that they're all related and that they all were like triplets to begin with. So the midday form in Sims, I just called it day to begin with because I didn't go through the full thing. So I just called it day. But I made this one a female. It's based off of the one that if your Rockruff evolves if you're playing like the sun version. So basically during like the day and stuff like that, it's the more lighter brown creamy color that's also got white and black mixed in, but it's got that lighter brown color. So I tend to go with these more dirty blondes, like the light browns, and more highlights and brighter colors, some of these pinky-ish taupe tones. I did try the ears at first, but then I was like, nah, I'm gonna take the ears off. So, and also to me, when you look at them, I think the day form looks like the one that you would want to probably cuddle with the most if you had to choose one to cuddle with. So I also took that into consideration, which is why I gave her probably the longest hair out of all of them, just sort of the way that the sort of feel that's going through this one, and I gave her more of like maybe a, not necessarily girly, but probably the girlyish and the more towards preppy look, but not necessarily. She still looks like she can, you know, kick some butt if she needs to, which is sort of the theme I was going for them, because they all look really cool and interesting and different, but at the same time they may look pretty, but you know, all that stuff, but they still look like, you know, they're gonna beat you up if they need to. So that was my overall theme for all 3 of them. I do give all of them actually tattoos, but I went with a theme of one has more tattoos than the other. There's one that's sort of in between, and one that has a few less tattoos. I thought the day form, the personality and sort of the vibe that I was getting from the Pokemon and also the sim that I was slowly creating, I could see her wearing a like having tattoos, because she just looks awesome and cool and everything, but she has the least amount of tattoos on her. I do eventually go with tattoos. I remember when I was going to put the tattoos on her, the shoes that I give her, when you go into tattoo, like into the mode to put tattoos on, it like makes her have no feet. But eventually I just was like, why is she losing her feet? But I realized it was just when you was trying to put tattoos on her. Because at first I like flipped out because I was like, what? Why doesn't she have feet? And also the accessories don't come off somewhat. So I was like, what is going on? But you know, I just went with it after a bit and was like, fine, whatever, we'll just do it. So I was trying a few different tattoos on her, but I did give her, like, I think it's a back tattoo. So with her hair, you can't really see it very well. But, you know, it's sort of like she has one, she's there, she has something in common with the other 2. But she just didn't go to the extent that the other 2 may have went. So, you know, there's that thing. Also, I think, like, with them, I was pretty happy with the way the face structure looks. I think that they honestly look absolutely beautiful, but especially in that profile look, I feel like I definitely got that wolfy sort of vibe, and Lycanroc definitely looks like some type of wolf. And I feel like that profile especially gives them that wolf sort of look, but still look human. I absolutely actually loved how all three of these turned out. They're one of the ones that I was excited going in, and I still was excited when I finished. They are going to be moving over into my main save. Like, there's so many of these Pokemon Sims that I am actually finding ways to move them over, but I'm also, like, strategizing how I'm moving over. Who do I want them to be friends with? Who do I possibly want them to be with? Like, I'm like thinking about things. Do I need to age them down? Do I need to keep them the age that they're already set? All that stuff. So I'm like going into it like strategy wise, moving them over into my main save. But anyway, we're actually on to the next one, which I don't know if I change it right away, but this is the Midnight form, which I did decide to make this one a guy. I didn't want all three of them to be all males and all females. So I definitely was like, I have to make their difference. I hadn't decided on the Dusk form until, like, as I was finishing up him and what gender I was going to make the Dusk form. But for the Midnight form, I thought I wanted to make it a male. And as I mentioned, I don't know if this video is going to come out before or after one video, but there's a video, this probably will come out after. I think it's going to be coming out after, with the way that I think I have it set up. But, Galden actually has a Lycanroc. So, I think does he have it in both the game and the anime? I feel like he does, but I'm not entirely sure. But anyway, so, you know, there was just certain things that I was like, I think out of all of them, this one fits the male the best. I feel like the Dusk one could get away with being either. I mean, all of them technically could, but you know, if you had to choose a gender, like if you had to, I feel like the Midday is more feminine, the Midnight is more masculine, while the Dusk is in between, which the Dusk is technically meant to be more in between of the two. I think Dusk does lean more onto the Midday form, like similarly wise, it leans more towards that way. Which, you know, you have, there's the Midday, the Midnight, and Dusk. What about Dawn? Is there a Dawn? Maybe we can have a Dawn form or something, and maybe that one could lean more towards the Midnight form. But a Midnight also stands, and it actually looks like it's gonna like pummel you with these big giant paws the way it stands. So I definitely wanted this one to, like, him to look a little bit more muscular and stronger and a little bit more kick butt. Trying not to say words, but sometimes I say them anyway, so I don't know why I'm trying. But you know, anyway, you know what I'm trying to say here. That sort of theme going for him. He's the one who I decided to give also the most tattoos, just because I feel like the Midnight form, just the vibe he's giving off, he sort of has like this, his eyes are glowing red, he's sort of smirking like, I can beat you up. That's gonna be, like, it just gives me this overall vibe, like, out of them all, like, he's gonna be the one that has the most tattoos. So I did give him the most tattoos, and the tattoo I chose has, like, a middle piece on the chest, and it has, like, the stages of the moon, and I thought that really was fitting for him, since, you know, it is supposed to be the Midnight form, so nighttime, the moon, you know, also sun and moon. I thought it fit really well, so I gave him that for that reason, and the shirt that I picked actually shows the full moon version, because the way his shirt is, so I was like, yeah, we're gonna go with that. So, that was my reasoning behind the tattoo. Now, of course, with him, he has mostly reds, white, and black. The main colors that changes is, like, the red versus the tan, and then Dusk, I'll get to them later. So, that was the main colors that change with them. So, I did have the red shirt, but I did incorporate some white with him as well, more than I did the Midday form. So, I just thought it fit better. Also, the hair, the way his fur goes up over his head, so I thought the hair was perfect, and the fur is also white and black. Again, perfect, so I was like, I have to do that one. But now we're going to be on to the Dusk form. So I did finally decide to go with female, partially because, you know, how I mentioned that overall looks and stuff, it leans more towards looking like the midday form. It has the same stance of being on the 4 legs. It has the long fluffy tail, the fluffy mane. Part of the mane does come up over the head like the midnight form, but that is the main attribute of the midnight form that the dusk form keeps. Overall, otherwise, it looks a lot like the midday form. Now, of course, it does also look like you've taken like that tanny, pinky, creamy color and mixed it with the red to like the orange. It's like an orangish fur that's sort of in between. So I can see how they did try to come up with merging these two, but I do say I think it leans more towards the midday form. So I decided to make it a female, and so she'll look more like the midday form than she will look like the midnight form. This is a lot of mouthful to go back from midday to midnight. But so that was what I decided with her. Now, of course, I knew she had to be a redhead, so, and I honestly love red hair. Like the actual true red hair. That's really confusing, and I really wish they wouldn't do that, but I know a lot of redheads hate when you actually say orange. But I don't even know who decided the hair colors in the first place, decided to call it red hair. Because true red is like the Lycanroc midnight form, while this is the red hair is more towards like the orange colors. But whatever, at least orange is a variation of red. You just added yellow to the mix. So anyway, that was the hair that I wanted to give her. Definitely was like red hair. And then I thought this hair was like super cute, but also had a little bit of sassiness sort of shown in it as well. So I did go with that. I can't remember. I think I'm trying to give her piercings here. I don't remember if I keep piercings on her right away. I did want her literally to be a mix, because like to me they all was like all like, you know, badass to a certain degree, but I feel like, you know, the midnight one was a little bit more so than the midday form, and she's supposed to be the in-between. She's sort of the one that has a little attributes of both of them. While they are more opposite than each other, she is like the middle ground, which is what I was going for her. But I ended up sort of, I think she turned out to be my favorite, but I love all 3 of them. I think the midday form, I think she turned out absolutely stunning, just with the way her face is and the makeup and the blue eyes just like immediately pop. Versus dusk form, she's a little bit of beauty, but also like just awesome amazingness. And then he just looks like, you know, he's gonna kick butt. Like, he's gonna be awesome. So I have reasons why I like all 3 of them, but you know, hey. And as you can see, I'm going through and giving her tattoos now. I did give her a few less, like, try to make it look like she had a few less than her brother, but she has more than her sister. I think she leans more to having more like he does than less like she does. Because I think the one I finally decide on is still quite a bit of tattoo, but it's not as much as his, but it's very close to being as much as his. Like, all she'd have to do is add a few more and she'd be on, like, his level of, like, tattoos. But I thought they were absolutely really pretty and really cool, and I wanted to give them to her, so I was like, you know what? We're going with this one. I like this one. I also gave her a dress, which, you know, with the personality I was going with the midday form, you'd think I would give the midday form a dress versus the dusk form. But I love the midday's outfit so much anyway. I think it looked really cool. And I definitely didn't want to touch it. And I don't know, I just thought maybe, you know, I pictured her as being the type that would, like, wear a simple dress, but, you know, wear some, like, Converse or combat boots with a dress, because I think that's really cool when you do that, because you got this really pretty dresses, no matter whether they're simple or not, usually are looked as, like, girly or elegant or whatever, and then you throw, like, sneakers or combat boots or something, like, along those ranges with it, and it's like, well... one of my favorite, actually, this is like on a totally other note, but one of my favorite senior pictures is actually me wearing my senior prom dress, but I'm wearing Converse with it, so I sort of like that overall look that happens when you have like a really pretty dress or like a cute dress, and then you add a twist on with the shoes. So yeah, that was just my style for her. I did to give her those like, tall Converse boot type things, but I decided not to because I was playing around, and then I came to these one shoes and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go with those. I really like those. So I went with those. That also added some of the white and into it because she does have white on her too, the Pokemon does. So that was a way to add the white in because I realized I really didn't actually have much white on her. So yeah, anyway, screenshots should be coming up. There will be group screenshots as well as individual screenshots. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you liked how they turned out. They're up there in my faves, actually. They're one of the few that I started out being happy and excited to do and still finished being happy and excited to do, because I mentioned how like some of them that I was like, oh, this is gonna be easy, oh, this is gonna be exciting. Some of those are the ones that turned out being my least favorites, which was sort of annoying, but oh well, I mean, it happens. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Hit that lovely like button, subscribe if you're not already. Also share the video so that others enjoy it as well. Let me know which of the three is your favorite out of The Sims and also out of just the general Pokemon like games and everything. And shit, let me know so far who is your favorite Pokemon in the Create a Sim series as of right now. All of my Sims 4 playlists will be down in the description below, as well as one to the Pokemon playlist. And so will my social media be down there as well, so you can go follow me on those. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!